Learning Objective 7. Discuss the role of assumptions and predictions in budgeting. Managers must make assumptions and predictions in preparing budgets because organizations operate in a world of uncertainty. One way of coping with that uncertainty is to supplement the budgeting process with a financial planning model. A financial planning model is a set of mathematical relationships that express the interactions among the various operational, financial, and environmental events that determine the overall results of an organization's activities. A financial planning model is a mathematical expression of all the relationships expressed in a master budget flowchart. In a fully developed financial planning model, all the key estimates and assumptions are expressed as general mathematical relationships. Then the model is run on a computer many times to determine the impact of different combinations of these unknown variables. What-if questions can be answered about such unknown variables as inflation, interest rates, the value of the dollar, demand, competitors' actions, union demands, and forthcoming wage negotiations, and a host of other factors. The widespread availability of personal computers and electronic spreadsheet software has made financial planning models a more common management tool.
Learning Objective 8. Describe a typical organization's process of a budget administration. In small organizations, the procedures used to gather information and construct a master budget are usually informal. In contrast, larger organizations use a formal process to collect data and prepare the master budget. Such organizations usually design a budget director or chief budget officer, which is often the controller. A budget committee consisting of key senior executives often is appointed to advise the budget director during the preparation of the budget. This committee is responsible for policies matter relating to the budget and coordinating the preparation of the budget. The authority to give final approval to the master budget usually belongs to the board of directors. By exercising its authority to make changes in the budget and grant final approval, the board of directors can have considerable influence on the overall direction the organization takes. E-budgeting is an increasingly popular internet-based budgeting tool that can help streamline and speed up an organization's budget process. The E in e-budgeting stands for both electronic and enterprise-wide. Employees throughout an organization at all levels and around the globe can submit and retrieve budget information electronically via the internet. Managers and organizations use e-budgeting have found what has greatly streamlined the entire budgeting process. In the past, these organizations have compiled their master budgets on hundreds of spreadsheets, which has to be collected and integrated by the corporate controller's office. Firms with international operations face a variety of additional challenges in preparing their budget. First, a multinational firm's budget must reflect the translation of foreign currencies into the US dollar. Since almost all of the world currencies fluctuate in their values relative to the dollar, this makes budgeting for those translations difficult. Although multinationals have sophisticated financial ways of hedging against such currency fluctuations, the budgeting task is still more challenging. Second, it is difficult to prepare budgets when inflation is high or unpredictable. While the United States has experienced periods of high inflation, some foreign countries have experienced hyperinflation, with sometimes annual inflation rates well over 100%. Predicting such high inflation rates is difficult and further complicates a multinational's budgeting process. Finally, the economies of all countries fluctuate in terms of consumer demand, availability of skilled labor, laws affecting commerce, and so forth. Companies with offshore operations face the task of anticipating such changing conditions in their budgeting process.
Learning Objective 9. Discuss the behavioral issues in budgeting. When a supervisor provides a departmental cost projection for budgetary purposes, there's an incentive to overestimate cost. When the actual cost incurred in the department proves to be less than the inflated cost projection, the supervisor appears to have managed in a cost-effective way. At least that is the perception of many managers, and in the behavioral area, perceptions are what count most. These illustrations are examples of padding the budget. Budget padding means underestimating revenue or overestimating cost. The difference between the revenue or cost projection that a person provides and a realistic estimate of the revenue or cost is called budgetary slack. Most people perform better and make greater attempts to achieve a goal if they have been consulted in setting the goal. The idea of participative budgeting is to involve employees throughout an organization in the budgetary process. Such participation can give employees the feeling that this is our budget, rather than the all too common feeling that this is the budget you imposed on us. While participating budgets can be very effective, it also has shortcomings. Too much participation and discussion can lead to uncertainty and delay. Also, when those involved in the budgeting process disagree in significant and irrevocable ways, the process of participation can accentuate those differences. Finally, the problem of budget padding can be severe unless incentives for accurate projections are provided. End of chapter 9.